How much time till we're on?
We're on, Ron.
What?
We're on the air right now.
I'm ready.
James Gunn can save the DC franchise. James Gunn, Saffron, they've come on as co-CEOs of the DC Studios, the new DC universe. They're prepping, they're getting that ready to go. Can we really trust James Gunn and Peter Safran to save DC? Me personally, I believe that they can save DC. I think it's going to be a hard, tall task for them to win over the fans. These DC fans, me being one of them, DC fans, it's hard out here, right? Everything has been subpar to par when it comes to certain things. James Gunn gave us Suicide Squad. I enjoyed it, right? But it still felt like it could have been better. The Batman was dope, but it had nothing. The Batman is a one-off movie. The Joker, I don't think the Joker should get a sequel, but it made so much money. You know what I'm saying? You do sequels when movies make money like that. But they're all standalone films. They're all in their own pocket dimension or universes, so to speak. But can he save the DC franchise? Sure. This article right here is coming from YoungHollywood.com, and they ask, can James Gunn save it? It says, ever since the appointment of James Gunn as the co-CEO of DC Universe was announced a couple months ago, fans have been in constant debate over what will happen. James Gunn and Peter Safran are set to lead the film division. Film, television, and animated divisions are considered to be co-chairs and co-CEOs under the supervision of David Zaslav, the current president and CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. The filmmaker and producer take over to focus on the creative and business aspects of the studio, as DC Studios will replace the former DC Films. So it's going from DC Films to DC Studios, kind of like what Marvel, has gone, or what Disney has over there with Marvel. They have Marvel Studios, so they have their own studio, their own arena, their own, court to play in, which is dope. That's nice. That's something they didn't have before. It was just, having a director, producer show up and say, okay, this is it. But now this is their own thing. You see what I'm saying? DC Studios. We make DC movies, DC product, DC animation, whatever. That's what we do. James Gunn tweeted, this was back December 19, 2022, says, one of the things Peter and I are aware of when we took the job as heads of DC Studios was a certain minority of people online that could be, well, uproarious and unkind, to say the least. He's talking about the Snyderverse, He says, our choices for the DCU are based upon that what we believe is best for the story and best for the DC characters who have been around for nearly 85 years. Perhaps these choices are great, perhaps not, but they are made with sincere hearts and integrity and always with the story in mind. Now, I like hearing that. If he's saying that this is going to be, when I hear sincere heart and integrity, to me, that means doing the research on said character and bringing that character and that story, because he says, and always with the story in mind, to this second medium, from page to film. You see what I'm saying? And I know personally, a lot of fans don't grasp that concept of everything that's in a comic book won't translate over to film. But you want to try to keep the heart and the integrity of that comic book so you can tell that story on film. If he's doing that, we ain't got no problem, right? If he's doing that, everything should be good. And that's one thing to me that Marvel is kind of getting away from. They're getting away from the heart and the integrity of these characters, and that leads to bad storytelling or lazy storytelling. Hopefully they get that back on track coming into phase 5. But that's what Marvel deviated from with phase 4. Hopefully DC saw that and said, now we can't go that way. So this James Gunn, I think he can save it. I'm you know what I'm saying? It's a big job, but I think he can do it. Early in 2022, $80 million Batgirl movie was nixed from the studio. It was a lot of talk about that. They said it was a tax write-off, but the thing is, it wasn't even done. Come to find out, that movie was not even done, so that wasn't ready to go. We do know that James Gunn has had success over there at the MCU with his Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. He did the Suicide Squad film reboot, you know what I'm saying, knocked that out the park and destroyed things with Peacemaker. Peacemaker was a dope series on HBO Max. If you haven't seen it, go check that out on HBO Max. So James Gunn has the wherewithal and the know-how to bring these characters to light. I now want to see what the universe, because those is kind of, some standoff films or projects. I would like to see what the universe that James Gunn builds is going to do. You see what I'm saying? I would like to see how he starts fleshing out the world building of the new DCU going forward. His first thing has to be Superman. We got to get Superman back on track. We got to. You just have to, you know what I'm saying? Basically, you have to do the Trinity. Marvel did the same thing. They started with the Trinity that they could put out. Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. That was their Trinity. That was it. That was their Trinity. They hit you with those core films. Made sure they stayed true enough to, like he said, the integrity and the heart of those characters, and they brought them to life. That's what you got to do. So you got to come up with Superman, right? You got to hit us with Superman. You got to do Batman. You got to do Wonder Woman. You don't necessarily need a Justice League, but if you do a Justice League, my suggestion would be like a Justice League Unlimited type situation. They already in the Justice League. We don't need we don't need origin stories, because the thing is, we're rolling right from Snyderverse right into this DCU situation. So those fans already know. We already got the origin stories. Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, Donna Troy. We already got all that. Or Prince, I'm sorry, Diana Prince. We already got all that. Let's give us now let's tell some stories. Now let's really tell some stories when it comes to the Holy Trinity of DC. Now let's really tell some stories. We know Zack Snyder was following Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, which was, can't really say too many bad things about that. Or I don't really have any too many bad things about to say. You know what I'm saying? That was the first time seeing Batman on that big screen in a long time, especially in, you know what I'm saying, in a light like that. He brought it, he knocked it out the park. Not my favorite iteration of Batman, but the films killed it. Then we got Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman. We got Wonder Woman, Justice League. Patty Jenkins, I think, is out. She won't be coming back to helm the third iteration of Wonder Woman. I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what Gal Gadot stands. Hopefully she because I think she did a good job playing Wonder Woman. I just don't know how you mix and match. If you're going to get a new Superman but keep Gal Gadot, you get rid of Ben Affleck. I don't know who you come in and cast to play the new Bruce Wayne, the new Batman. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We just had Shazam. We got Shazam going. I forgot about that. Shazam coming out. Is that it for Shazam? And Zachary Levi, does he stay? We had The Rock with Black Adam. You know what I'm saying? That was supposed to be this new shit, but it was some behind the scenes shit. They say that kind of deflated and derailed his time over there at DC. And like I said, you have the Matt Reeves and Todd Phillips, what they're over there doing with respectively with the franchises of the Batman with Matt Reeves and Todd Phillips over there doing Joker. He has Joker 2 coming out. It's it's a lot of things happening over on the DC side that is not necessarily DCU. It's not necessarily the franchise that we're going to be getting going forward. I don't want to say it's confusing, but it's a lot to take in. You know what I mean? It's like a lot to take in, especially with when we look at, and I don't want to keep comparing it to Marvel, but Marvel did kind of set the blueprint for interconnected universes going forward. I think it's the perfect time to strike. with Marvel kind of tripping up with this last phase 4, perfect time to strike. But if you're going to dismantle everything, it might hurt. You might lose some people on the way. It might take some time to regain the trust of the fans. And that's the whole thing. Do the fans trust James Gunn? We see, you know what I'm saying? We see that he do good work, but right now everything is so quiet, and I know he got his head. He does reply on Twitter. He does that, but it's so cryptic at times or speculative. You know what I'm saying? It's not any kind of concrete anything. A lot of fans is mad about the Henry Cavill situation. It's a hard time to be a DC fan. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a real hard time to be a DC fan, and I want to see him win because I think competition breeds innovation. And right now, there's no competition on the comic book movie front. Marvel is monopolized. They hold all the cards. They trump tight all the spades. You know what I mean? They ready to yell domino at any time. Uno out. You know what I mean? Like they got it. They over there winning. They control all the properties on the monopoly board. You know what I'm saying? Especially that last one right before you get to go, and they got Park Place and all of that on. They got all that on lock. No matter what you roll, you paying, you know what I'm saying? Like they got you. So I would like to see DC make this turnaround and bring the franchise back to what it should be. You know what I'm saying? Because DC used to be smashing on Marvel. Tell you the truth. I've always been a big Marvel fan, but DC was always there doing it bigger and better, especially 80s, 90s, early. They was always there. Smashing on. Couldn't lose. So I would like to see DC come back and get back moving on something like that. So yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments or whatever. If y'all think James Gunn can save that DC franchise. Like I said, I personally think they can.